Hi, I'm Cheryl Reed, and I'm going to be presenting my life cycle PBL for you today. And I'm going to talk about several different things that go along with putting a PBL together. And I'm going to start with where I was completely lost at the beginning of this course. I did not know that there was a difference between project-based and problem-based learning. In fact, I had never heard of problem-based learning at all. So in case you're anything like me, please believe there is a difference between problem and project-based learning. So I put the differences that I found into my own words when I define problem-based learning as student-centered learning in an environment with a central question known as the problem that students work together in small groups with defined roles. Now, we all know that group work can be tedious and students can have a hard time uh, making sure that they are on task. So, there's there are ways around this, and we just have to be very, very, very strategic in our ways of making sure that students are staying on task. And we need to make sure there's a student that can kind of reel them back in if they're not on task. Okay. Now, project-based learning is defined, again in my own words, as an extended project worked on for several weeks to respond to a problem, challenge, or question, keeping students engaged by its complexity. So it has to be something that is more open-ended than not, and it has to be something that will allow students to have some critical thinking in order to make sure that they're thinking beyond and outside of the box. Now, Now that that's clear, let me share with you my audience. I have a group of second grade kiddos, and they are city kids. They're not country kids. So they are not necessarily exposed to life cycles outside of school. So they don't think of things having life cycles. They just, outside of the obvious things. So I want to make sure that they know that the things that they see around them in their immediate surroundings do have life cycles. Our school is situated about 3 minutes from downtown Nashville. All right, what is a cycle? These are some of the things that kiddos come up with and have come up with over the years. A cycle is something that just keeps going. Is it like recycle? It happens over and over and over. Yes. Those are some of the things that we like to have in our conversations because life cycles are things that continue to happen. Recycling is something that promotes things that have been used to be used again in a different form, of course. And of course, cycles do keep going, and we can always bring in um, some information about bicycles and tricycles and how the wheels just keep going unless you stop. So, we can bring those things in to make some connections. Okay, the driving questions. What if the life cycles of a fruit tree, butterfly, chicken, and frog were the same? Would there be any problems? So, even though the kids have been exposed to some life cycles, comparing life cycles is something new, and we wanted to just take a different spin on it and come from a different angle so that kids will have um, a different outlook and be able to, of course, make some more connections as well. Okay, so in their surroundings, I want them to know that they can identify some life cycles in their communities, in their neighborhoods, and of course in their states. Some of our kids live in houses, some live in apartments, some live in duplexes, but there are life cycles around them no matter where they live. And then in their community, it can always go back to the human life cycle. They've had someone born in their family. They've had someone die in their family. That life cycle, we could get to that very carefully, but we could also get to that. And then in the state of Tennessee, we could talk about totally different things that are very true to Tennessee, things that you don't see outside of Tennessee. We can make sure that students are well versed in those kinds of things as well. Okay, we've been talking about climates, we've been talking about continents, we've been talking about the globe. We've got all these things that we've been talking about, that is something that's connected to the core content, and we can also tie it in with this. Would life cycles in the United States be different from life cycles in Antarctica? Would there be any problems? Knowing that some species need to live in different climates, cold climates or warmer climates, we can bring that in and make it full circle as well. And then we can also talk about different continents and different other different parts of the world that have opposite seasons than we do. So they may have life cycles in different times than we do as well. Okay, here are our core content for Tennessee, core content state standards. Compare the life cycles of various organisms. Of course, we're doing butterflies, chickens, frogs, and fruit trees. Compare and contrast the life cycles of different organisms, such as a chicken, butterfly, mealworm, frog, or human. We could do that as well. And well, we are doing that, and then we'll pull in our own, so it would be an area that kids can connect with. Realize that parents pass along physical characteristics to their offspring. We can pull in that human aspect, and we can even do activities with that. Bringing in a baby picture of you and your parent and trying to match up the two, or trying to allowing the other students to see, okay, so I know this is Miss Reed, but where's Miss Reed as a baby? Seeing that that part of our life is the beginning of our life cycle, and we've moved on forward to where we are currently, and then we will continue to move forward to where we will be in the future. And then sequence a collection of pictures or illustrations into the correct stages of an organism's life cycle. Knowing that the egg comes before the fruit. I mean, the seed comes before the fruit, or the egg comes before the butterfly, or the egg before the chicken, or the egg before the frog. But who lays the egg? But who plants the tree? So we have those kinds of conversations, and I just step back and allow students to have those conversations and build their own ideas of what came first, the egg or chicken the chicken or the egg or the chicken, whichever way you want to say it. I think it's just very important that kids are critical thinkers and we don't impose our thoughts on them all the time. So that's where we are with that. And then with each of our different species or um, different things that we're going to be studying life cycles of, we're going to make a life cycle book. And it'll have as many pages as they need. So for whatever number of stages are in that life cycle, because everyone doesn't just have 4 stages. Some of them have several stages. So that'll help them to compare as well and to see that all of them do not have the same stages, and we could not have them have the same stages, or something would get left out. Because if the butterfly didn't have that chrysalis, it would never turn into a butterfly. Um, so, things like that, just to make sure that they understand what it is that we're doing. And then once they have completed that and labeled it correctly and used their own illustrations, which will be interesting as well, they're going to present them to kindergartners in Mrs. Smith's class. Now, they will also be able to share what they've learned with using some technology, and some of them will pop up soon. Okay. Powtoon, Raw Shorts. Let me move my little thing over. Haiku Deck, Wordle, Prezi, Sparkle, and Powtoon Slides. Some of my favorites. As you can see, I'm using them right now. And let's see here. Here are my sources. Thank you so much for tuning in, I guess I would say. And if you have any questions or any suggestions, I totally welcome them. Um, and I would love to see what else I can add to make this better.